What's going on YouTube? It's PJ's Chess back in another video. So today, I have determined that I got 2 out of 3, drew 2 masters, beat an expert, and went from 1832 to 1910, a 78-point rating increase. Let me show you the accuracy before getting the games. 87.6 for me this game, or from my opponent. 87.1. This is a 2300 rated player. This is a 2200 rated player. I had 83.8, 91.1 for them. May wonder how I drew this. We'll get to that in a second. And then this last game here, I had 86.9, they had 76.9. A beautiful tactic that won me the game. And I can't wait to show all of those. Before we get into it, please subscribe, please like, please comment. We're almost at 300 subs. By the time this comes out, hopefully we hit it. But I'm not sure if I gain that many in this short of a time period. But hopefully we are. That's the goal. But if not, please support. Check out my TikTok PJ's Chess, my Twitch PJ's Chess 993. Let's get into the recap. This first game against 2300 rated master. He went e4, I go e5, knight to f3, knight to f6, captures, d6. And this is the classical variation. I sped through all that. That's all theory, all known. As you see, they're all book moves. And I did think I knew this a little bit better than he did. Now, maybe he just moved slower, but I was like blitzing out the moves. And I was making my moves a lot quicker than they were making theirs. I felt very good about that. Like, okay, maybe I can catch him. Because at this point, I'm 1830. It's about a 500 rating point difference. I wasn't as nervous as you would think. I played a lot of Masters. Well, I guess not a lot. I played against Masters a lot. Some of them are the same, but just say not a lot of Masters. I played against the same amount of Masters a decent amount of time. Sorry, I'm making a vid right now. But I'm very comfortable playing against them. So I was not feeling too nervous until a later part of this game. I go bishop e7, castles, rook here to e1, knight to f6, and bishop here to g5. Now, the bishop g5, they're looking for this pin here on this file, on this diagonal. I expected them to do bishop g5. I wish I could have went h6, but I know that I have to do all these other moves. Like, this is all book moves. You can see with the book and knight back. Although knight c6 is better. I'm not sure. I didn't even consider that. I didn't know that was the book move as much as I know. Know the first 7 moves, but the 8th is where I was like, the theory has lost me. I am just a class A player. They don't have all the memorization just yet. But I should learn this. I play the Petrov quite a lot. But I went knight to f6. They go bishop here to g5. Pawn a6 attacking the bishop, and then drop back to h4. Now, this is the part of the game where I start to feel a little bit uncomfortable because I don't know what to do with my light square bishop. Now, I go bishop e6 at some point, but I wasn't too happy with it. I was considering going b6 and bishop b7, and I just knew they had an active bishop. Their queen could get in, and I was like, okay, maybe I knew this first part better, but they might have a slight advantage in the rest of the game. I go c6, and they actually do get an advantage, you'll see. They go knight bd2, I go bishop here to e6, knight here to e5, rook here to e8, and I spent a lot of time on this move. I was up a decent amount of time, but between bishop e6 and rook to e8, I think they were actually up after these two. I didn't know what to do. Oh, this is the best move. I almost played this. I almost played knight here, knight f to d7. I promise this was the move I considered a lot of the time I was thinking. The reason I decided not to is I just could not justify getting rid of the development square for this knight on b7. I was like, if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, then I will be down in development a lot. And the reason I considered doing this is because it forces a trade-off of something, and I didn't want them to have pieces. If they go back, you would just take the knight, and if they take the bishop here, you would just take back. And you feel good about both of these positions, if you're being honest. Like, even at 4 I saw, but I wasn't too worried after knight here. Oh, you even take. Maybe I saw it during the game. But regardless, this isn't a bad position. Like, with the pieces on the board, let's go back before this line. With this here, my king side feels a little weak. They have a bishop in, an advanced knight, a bishop here, a queen here. It's looking like they have a lot of active pieces at the moment. So I was looking a way to trade off, but even though I saw this move, knight to d7, I just couldn't justify this knight on b8 not having a square to go to, so I didn't play it. It sucks seeing it now, but I got the draw, so I can't be too mad. I go rook e8, pawn to c3, knight b to d7, and this is exactly why you can see why I was so hesitant to go back, because I was considering doing this for this knight for quite a while. As you do in the developing, you always go c6 or d7 with the knight to start off. They go f4, the best move. I saw this and just go knight f8. Although it's saying queen. Really? Queen here was the best move? That is... wow. Okay, so what if they go here? Are you saying you just take, captures? Oh, and bishop back. So what if you take the knight, they take the pawn, what would you do? I'm going to take the bishop. Yeah, okay. So I missed that. I missed on queen to b6. I just went knight to f8 to avoid the bishop getting tracked if they push f5. And the queen here to f3 and knight to e4. When they played qf3, he had a visible reaction like, Like something along the lines of that. That's my version of doing it. But he did his version that you could tell like he messed up. But I was like, okay, he's 2300. Is he messing with my mind a little bit? I wasn't sure. But I saw 94 almost immediately. And the reason I saw it immediately is the whole time I'm trying to figure out a way to get out of this pin. I was like, wait, just go here. And the reason it works, so you go 94, it's the best move. They can't, well, they could take it. Well, I don't know. Could they take it? I think you can take. I don't think it really matters the order. Yeah, so it doesn't matter the order. They take the bishop first. I capture the knight with the knight. Now, if you take the bishop, you're actually losing because of takes. They just won some material, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And this is just a very uncomfortable position to play if you're black. But because you have an intermezzo taking the knight, both queens are hanging. You're actually winning if they take the queen, I'm pretty sure. Because if you take, you then take the queen. Maybe it's not winning. Okay, it's not winning, but it's still fine. And you will take here, and you go into this endgame that's slightly better for white, but it's definitely a better position than it was previously. They had so much pressure on the king side, so that's why you go for that. Drop their queen back, knowing they had the attack line, had the advantage. They want to keep pieces on, avoiding that queen trade. Although it was the best move, maybe he evaluated QE2 was better, but he avoids getting the queens off the board. I take bishop here. No, queen captures D2. Wow, I don't know why I couldn't say that. And queen to F6. This is a mistake. I knew you had to get out the way, and I chose the wrong way. I think you could see why I go here, though. Like, regardless of the fact that it's not the best move. Just considering the fact that the whole time, this whole game, my king side's under attack, I want to get towards the king side. Thought it was a great move. Now, what I miss here, and them, is F5. I was like, oh, I could just take. And I even saw this, and I was like, here, I missed G4, which is pretty simplistic. I don't know how I missed G4, but I did miss pawn and G4. I saw them going F5. I thought I could take it. Maybe even go back, but I just didn't think it was winning the way that it is here, and they didn't either. And it goes from +2 to 0.1 advantage. And I actually give them another advantage later. You see some mistakes here, but I don't think they were that easy. One of the moves I think was simpler that we both just missed, but some of the other moves I didn't think they were that easy. I go bishop F5, and this is where we talked after the game. He's like, yeah, well, he didn't see this move, that I could just trade the bishops off. And you can't see why I trade off. They can go anywhere on this diagonal. Now they stay on this diagonal. So wherever they go here, like backwards or forwards, I would take. So they trade on their terms here. And you, oh, this is an amazing tactic I want to show. This is playing 2300. It's quite ridiculous, I have to say. You can't take the bishop. You have to go E6 or you lose the rook E6 or you lose the game. If you take the bishop, they have knight G4. It's completely winning because this is hanging here on E8 and the queen's hanging. And you can't take the rook first and try and get material for it because not only is that check, but it wouldn't work because they take the bishop back. So we can play this out. You take the rook. This is check. You have to take, and they get the bishop. So it's literally like a rook and a knight for a queen. But it's not a good rook, and like it's not a way that it would work. You have a bad pawn structure as well. It's just completely worse. So I decide to go rook here to E6, pawn in G4, and queen back. So it's a similar idea. You could have queen F6 was better. I didn't think QF6 worked after G5. I thought that I was losing. Apparently I misevaluated. Just take. But again, you could probably see how I miscalculated this. This is just not a great position playing from the black side of the board. Your king's open. Theirs is too, but their knight guards my rook square. Nothing guards rook to G2. Nothing stops them from piling up at some point. So I decided to go queen H7. A mistake, but I think an understandable one, although it is still a mistake. Doesn't take that away that it did make somewhat of sense. They go here, the F5 attacking my rook. I go to E7, queen slides here to F4, and rook A to E8. At this point, I thought I got the position back to equal. Apparently, according to the computer, I'm losing. But they did not know that. And they go rook E3. Why rook E3? I'm assuming to slide over here to H3, look for attack, but I'm assuming they missed G5. G5 pretty much draws the game on the spot, just because they have to do something. So if they say they push up, you take the queen, right? They en passant, I feel like you could take with either the knight or the pawn. I'm assuming the knight is a little bit better because it forces a trade of knights. And once it's two rooks, a queen, I'm not going to lose to most people. Like maybe, I am. But I think even if he did master, I could probably draw that for the most part. Especially with time on the clock. Now, blitz, maybe not. But with time on the clock, I definitely could. They drop their queen back here to F3, though. F6 taking the knight back. Knight here to D3. Knight to D7. A4 and queen F7. And then A5. This is the last recorded move. So if you're not familiar with USCF chess, under 5 minutes. So this is 25 minutes delay 5. I didn't even mention that. Should have said that earlier probably. But 25 minutes delay 5 seconds. Because of that, under 5 minutes, you don't have to notate anymore, as you know, it hinders the time use that you have. And this is where we both start. They stopped notating before this, but this is where I stopped notating myself. We both notate a little bit under 5 minutes. But then it was like, okay, we're like at 3 now. We have to save some time. The reason that I am able to draw this game, eventually I go a6, and just for a brief example, I don't remember the exact way we did it now, but it was something like this, and then like here, there was definitely like there's a queen trade. We traded the queens. And then at some point they didn't go here immediately, but at some point they went knight there, and then we traded, and there was just no way for either to break through, as you can see here. 7 pawns, but they're all symmetrical. So if you tried too much, it was a draw. And I offered the draw eventually once the knights got traded off, after we both tried to win, and he agreed. So that was the first game. That was the first draw. Here's game 2 though. A game that the accuracy shows a different story than what happened. I can give you a summation at the end, but because it wasn't recorded all the way, I'll have to somewhat narrate what happens to you, but we can definitely show what I have notated. I go d4, they go d5, bishop f4, c5, and I feel myself do dx c5. I've never done this before. Never done it over the board, at least, and this is not a good idea. Like, if you're playing an opening, you should probably go with what you know, and I did this because I played this person before. This is a master as well, and he's beat me a lot. Like, we played like 6 or 7 times, and I've drawn twice but lost every other, and I've been winning in some of them as well. And it's just, I cannot get over the hump, and I wanted to do something different. I was like, they're beating me with this for whatever reason, let me take. The problem is I don't play this, so I make some mistakes earlier in the game, as you can see. Although this is I did not see this calculation when we get to it. I missed on move 11, and my other games do not happen quite as early. They go knight here to c6, go knight to f3, pawn to f6, e3, although e4 is better. Didn't even see e4 if I'm being honest, because if they take, I'm guessing queen trade, and then here, and then where's the knight go? Knight back, yeah. Didn't see any of that, if I'm being honest with you. I've never played this before, so this is all new territory. I go for something that is similar to the London system, but I'm not playing a London system. I don't have the pawn here on d4. I needed to adapt. That's why you should play what you know. Even if you lost before, just go over what you know better. Like, try and master that. Or at least I could have studied or practiced dx c5 before I played it. But I feeling good after drawing a 2300. Let's do something different. I was like, let's change it up. And it didn't end up working. They go e5, bishop to g3. They take the pawn back and bishop e2. And now on move 7, I'm minus 0.1. If you watched my videos before, or if you're new, check out some other ones. I've never been this low to start a game over the in a classical game. Maybe in a blitz and bullet, but in a classical, it's always equal for me for the first part of the game, whether I win or lose. This is an unusual territory, and I felt it in the game, so I was like, wait, I messed up somewhere. They have a large center. I do not. My pieces are cramped. Theirs are not. I did not feel very good in this position. They go knight b to d what's this? No, knight g to e7. Excuse me, this is a very rare. It's usually this knight here and this knight there, so this threw me off a little bit. I'm used to saying knight b to d7. But I go c3. Again, I'm playing things that are for the London system. This is not the London system. I have to realize that. So I played another inaccuracy to start the game. They go knight here to f5, knight b to d2, queen here to b6. Now I thought I was losing here because of h5 is pretty much unstoppable. You're actually fine if you just castle. Now how? I really don't know. I want to put this in analysis. If they go h4, what was the response? h5, I mean b4, bishop back, and then e4. Oh, the point is to get off of the that's what I missed. The point of this is because but takes, and then knight h4. And if they push, takes, knight c4, back. And then there. Okay, so I missed all of that. I thought I was losing after queen to b6 was an accuracy, but I thought I was completely losing. I go queen to b3, and then I take the queen. Now, apparently here you can also take the pawn. Another problem with this is they just get in, which is what I saw. But apparently after you castle, and then they go bishop b6, bishop c4, I'm actually doing quite fine after qa3 because they have a weak king as well. Not something I calculated, and that is a mistake I had here. This is the 3rd time recently that I know I've recorded a video, and I'm talking about me playing too defensive, and I had a counterattack. So clearly, gotta work on that. Gotta work on counterattacking more than just straight up defending. They go pawn here to h5. A mistake, as mentioned. I take the queen, h4, and now I'm completely losing. I was like kind of laughing, like, well, I just threw a master. Losing to a master is not embarrassing. But I was like, no. Like, in the previous game we played, no, 2 games ago, the last game we played, he just destroyed me. But the one before that, I was actually completely winning and I blundered. So I'm like, if I can do it, he can do it too. That was my thought. So I kept playing on, and you'll see my accuracy. It's actually amazing. The rest of it, there's no more mistakes for the most part. You see all these inaccuracies and mistakes. I think, well, there might be a couple more, but it's definitely limited. But you'll see the accuracy gets better when it doesn't matter as much. But it ended up working out, and I'll give you what happens as a narration. I go bishop f5, knight here to h2, the queenside castle, g4, bishop f3, exchange, exchange, h5, h6. Now what you've seen so far is, while I'm still losing, I'm finding the best continuation because I didn't want to quit. I was like, it's no point. If I resign, if I quit, it doesn't, I'm going to want to lose. I might as well try and win the game while I'm playing it. They go f5, knight here to f2, bishop captures, king here to e2, pawn to e4, rook to d1, knight e5, captures, captures. And actually, this is where the notation stops, but I did remember these moves. So you may wonder, how do I not lose this game? It's -4 against a 400-point high-rated player, a national master, a life master at that. The general idea of what happens is something along the lines of this. I believe it's, so I give a check, it's there, check, and then there. So what was it? It was something along the lines of, I get, the king is here on c, I go knight b5, right, check, they have to slide back, then I went there, check, and then there, and then I won this bishop because of that. I hope that's explained well. I don't know how to put that on the board. Let's see if I can give a, say they push something, oh no, they didn't do that. Say they brought their rook over here, like I went knight there, like rook over here. Oh yeah, this is actually pretty much exactly what happened, I think. Except they couldn't take the rook here. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing something. But the idea was that I got the fork, and it was unstoppable, knight there, check, and then I went there, and I took the bishop, and they had these 3 pawns, and I sacrificed this knight, I rerouted it to, because the pawns got to here, so I rerouted my knight around to this square, and I took. So I know that's not on the board, I wish I could, but I just can't save it. The next game, I did remember what happened, so this is probably the best game, the most entertaining, because I have most of it, although I didn't want to show those games. I guess the first one I got most of it as well, but that last one I know is lacking a little bit. I will make up for it here. They play the Petrov again, knight f3, knight f6 after the e4 and e5, and they go d4, I capture, bishop to d3, and pawn to d5. I know this. I know the Petrov, I played it a lot, so I feel very, very confident. They actually blunder, and I don't think I take advantage of it. Maybe I do. But they take the knight, they take here, and knight to c3. Now, I actually haven't played this line. I think I just said I know this. I misspoke. What I mean to say is I know up to this point. Usually, people will take this, and I go knight c5. The only time, this is like the only time this happened to me, is they take the knight. It's not the best move, but seeing it for the first time over the board was an experience. So I take on the e4, they take with the knight, and bishop here to e7. There's equal material, but my pawn is kind of weak. You want to get f5, but you can't rush it, because f5, you know. Queen, here, take, and you're just losing, so you can't rush f5. I go bishop e7 first, although bishop d6 was better. And I realized that after I played it too, because after knight c3, I take a long think. This is hanging, you still can't go f5, which is the main problem, because of queen here to h5, right? And you lose the game if you do this, and then if you do this, you're in the worst position as well. So, alright, this is equal. Funnily enough, what? This cannot be equal once you go here. There's no way. Yeah, they take. Okay, the evaluation bar was wrong there. You take, and then if they take, you take the rook in the corner. But you pretty much have to take the knight. So because of this, I go bishop b4. Looking to remove the defender and hopefully get f5 in still. But they go queen here, which I didn't really understand, because you just castle. There's no threat with going queen here to h5. It seems like it would be, but with no pawns pushed, nothing to sacrifice for, I felt very comfortable. They castle, and I make a big mistake here. Now, f6 was the best move. Did I consider f6? I did not. I didn't consider anything but taking the pawn on d4, because I thought they blundered, but I blundered, because this is plus 1.1 for white now, swinging from plus 1 for me. It's a 2-point swing, essentially, which does not go in my favor. They go rook d1. Look at all these great moves they find. Rook d1, queen c5. I almost considered doing this. The only reason I didn't, because like, well, if online I probably would have, because I knew this was definitely uncomfortable. But over the board, I'm not someone who really likes to do an exchange sacrifice unless it's very, very obvious that it works. And this doesn't even work. Like this, you're still losing. So I didn't go for it. I kept the queen on. They go bishop here to e3, queen to a5, rook here to rook a to d1, and then rook here. Now they blundered by making this move. They had a winning advantage, and they're trying to double up on the d file and get a checkmate. You see, my king is kind of weak. All my pieces are on the c to a file for the most part. Like they're boxed in, it looks like, except the rook. So what do I do? I go bishop e6, get the bishop out. They go rook to d8, knight to c6, and I was like, okay, uncomfortable, but I should be fine. And taking the corner, I take. Knight captures pawn, and another mistake by me. f6 again. I'm pretty sure it was the move. f6, or no, bishop back here would have been the move, but I go queen a5. What I'm trying to do is create this pin on the 5th rank so I can win some material, but I can't do it because of knight to g5. Now with knight g5, I was like, my eyes went like that, because once I went queen a5, I was like, oh, this is just a win. Like, I'm about to win, drew 2 masters, be the expert. I'm feeling great. But then when they play this move, I was like, I couldn't believe it, and I completely missed this idea. I calculated for what felt like 6 or 7 minutes, and this is a 25 delay 5 game, as I mentioned earlier. So a lot of my time, and I find h6 the best move. I did play the best move ultimately. Now you can't see the issue. I should elaborate on why you have to do that. Say you take the free knight, right? So they give a check, you slide over it, queen h8, and then they take the rook in the corner. So you're just down material. And then similar idea if you took with the knight, like it just same thing, you lose material. And this one actually threatens checkmate if you don't move your knight out the way. So all of these ideas you have to go, and you can't go f6 because of the same thing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And this one actually might be mate. This might be better to take this pawn. Or yeah, there's mate in one. This is just mate. So you couldn't go f6. I actually almost went there, so I'm glad I picked the best versus the blunder. These are my two options, because g6 also doesn't work. There's just not much you can do here. You're just losing. So that's how I came to h6, and they take. Why they took the pawn, I could not understand. I was very excited. I thought they were going to take the bishop, because after take, you can just go queen here to f7, which was what I calculated. Yeah, and then just over. So I couldn't have actually taken the knight back, apparently. That's a blunder, if I want to look at that correctly. Oh, you're supposed to take this one. Oh, maybe that's why they didn't do it, because it's... Oh, yeah. So fair enough. I may have saw it during the game, but at least in the recap, slightly I missed that. But they take the pawn. I take the knight in the center. Same idea. You can't take here because of just queen captures and you're losing. So you have to take the central knight. You can't take with the queen or you'll lose the queen. So that's why you take with the knight. And because the bishop guards the queen, they couldn't go f4 to try and pin the knight on this rank like I was doing to them. They take, I go bishop here to d6, pawn here to f4, bishop to c5, queen back. Now this is actually where the notation ends, but I did remember this one because the tactic it was so familiar. Now I tried to figure out the whole rest of the game, and well, actually when we get to that point, we'll get to it. But I have at least the fun part of the game that I do know actually happened. I take the bishop, they take with the queen, I take the pawn. Now we're back to equal material. Queen slides forward to d4. They're just trying to get on this file. I didn't understand this. This is the best move, but during the game it's like, really? And that felt like a mistake to get off this pin. But apparently him in the evaluation I knew something that I didn't know. I go qa6, knight here to g6, and I thought I was still losing, but I go for the queen trade. Now I am losing. Queen here works. I didn't go this for obvious reasons. I was like, well, the rook's not going to hang because of the queen. I go queen over, and they blunder with f5. Let me see if you guys can find the move that wins the game here for, what is this? For black. It took me a little bit to find, because I was trying to figure out a way not to lose, because if you take the pawn, you lose. Because of knight to e7, there's a fork. That's why they went f5 in the first place. But I'll give you like another 5 or so seconds. Put in the comments, pause if you need to. But rook to d8. Boom. Boom. So this is actually a puzzle rush I've done before. And I was like, no way, I saw this over the board. They have to take the queen or they're going to lose this, right? Or if they move the queen back, I also just checkmate. So I'll just put that on the board. This is just checkmate. Because the queen can't move because of the pin, right? So they have to take the queen. I give a check. I take the queen. And then rook here. Captures. Captures. And this is the last part that I know actually happened. Well, this happened. And then that happened. After this, I don't fully remember. Maybe I went h5. But the idea is, you could see, I eventually run these pawns on the board, overwhelm this 1c pawn, get a queen, and they resign. But I thought it was a very cool tactic that won me the game. That rook to d8 move, deflection. Like, they have to move, check, intermezzo, and I was able to get the win. I also thought it was cool because this looks like they have a promotion. But if they push, is it their turn? Yeah, if they ever push here, I just have king f7. Is the only move that stops it, though. Because I'm pretty sure if you don't play king f7, you're back to losing. Yeah, this is the only move that works. But it's a pretty obvious move, so it's not like a super difficult thing to find. But I was able to get that win there. Finished with 2 points, gained 78, as I mentioned. I hope you guys can enjoy these high-level games that I played against high-level players. If you did, subscribe, leave a like, comment, do all those things that help the algorithm. I really appreciate it. I'm almost at 300 subscribers. By the time this comes out, I hope that we're there, but maybe not. And it'll take us a little longer. It takes a little longer. But thanks for watching, and have a good day.